Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? So, the Yankees are, I mean, we're only 3 games into the season, so not much to go on, but the Yankees have obviously a surplus of infielders, and they have a glut, no, not a glut, a deficit of pitching, whether it be bullpen or starting pitching, because there's too many guys on the injured list, and we know this. So, I want to present or, put out 4 ideal trade fits for Gleyber Torres. I know we talked about him, but the fact is, you're not going to get a lot of value for trading IKF or Hicks or whatnot. So I'm talking about the most valuable trade asset they have right now on the team in a position where you have Anthony Volpe, you have Oswald Peraza available, and even guys later on, whether it be Robert Garris, Trey Sweeney, or whatever you want to call it. He's the most valuable trade piece for this team. So I want to give you 4 trade fits and maybe even propose a trade for each one of these teams. I want to know what you think. Okay, let's get to it. So the first team we're talking about is Chicago White Sox. Okay, proposing like 2 different trade ideas here. Okay, Gleyber Torres to the White Sox. Gleyber Torres and a prospect, and then probably a top, I don't know, 10 to 15 prospect for Garrett Crochet. He's a free agent 2020. He's 23 years old. He's a left-handed pitcher, power pitcher for the bullpen. So lots of controllable years, 5 more controllable years. Okay, or the second proposal on the White Sox would be Aaron Bummer. We've talked about him before. He's a free agent 2027. He's 28 or 29. He's also left-handed in the bullpen, but he also has 4 more controllable years. You add, but he's also on a controllable contract too. And you add him in a prospect, Bummer in a prospect for Gleyber Torres. Now, Chicago needs a bat, okay, in order to compete with the Guardians and some of the teams in AL Central. So Gleyber Torres represents a good fit for the White Sox. Okay, so those are 2 trade ideas. Next up, we're going to talk about who? Seattle Mariners. They also need a bat. And if they're going to compete in the AL West with the Houston Astros, they need another bat to go with Julio Rodriguez and some of the other bats. I mean, they're looking pretty solid so far, but, they want to compete with those big teams. They're going to need a bat. So, and again, Torres can play second there. He can DH. I mean, I know they brought in Colton Wong, but Colton Wong doesn't have the bat that Gleyber Torres has, particularly against left-handed pitchers. So, go for the gusto here. You try see if you can get Andres Munoz, whoever's their power reliever or closer. 24 years old. He's a free agent until 2029. So he's going to cost a lot. Okay. And he has 3 team options as well in the back for 26, 27, 28 after arbitration. That's why he's not free agent for so long. Let's just say, you can do Torres and a couple of prospects, or if you want to try to add Chris Flexen's deal, that the Mariners can offset that for the Yankees, take an untenable prospect back, okay, and that the Mariners don't really use, and then you can add pretty 2 solid prospects to Gleyber Torres, so that the Mariners will get the bat that they need, and add a Clayton Beater or an Everson Pereira. What do you want to do? Add 2 pretty solid prospects to Torres and try to get Munoz here. And again, taking Chris Flexen's contract, which Mariners don't really have a use for. He's not even in the rotation. Maybe Matt Blake can do something. Okay. And if there's any way you can get Munoz, you pad a package to Gleyber Torres, they'd be pretty well off. I mean, it's kind of far-fetched, not as far-fetched. I mean, it's more far-fetched than I think the White Sox, but can't hurt to go for it. Okay. Next up is the Miami Marlins. Okay. This is a straight-up trade proposal for me. Torres for Braxton Garrett. He's a left-handed pitcher. Starting pitcher is 25 years old. He's not a free agent until 2028. Miami needs more reliable offense. We know this. I mean, Yankees have 2 starters that are going to enter free agency, Frankie Montas and Luis Severino, after the season. So if the Yankees can get a controllable starter via trade and using one of their assets rather than overpaying for somebody in free agency, might be a wise idea to consider. So you might have to add a prospect to Gleyber Torres, pretty decent one, but it's worth considering as well. And again, we're not talking Sandy Alcantara, aces and aces, but this is a young, dynamic, controllable, left-handed starter that the Yankees could use. Okay, so that's the third team. And the fourth team I want to go is the Milwaukee Brewers. And we've talked about this too, right? Even in the live streams where a lot of folks want Corbin Burnes, right? I get it. And if there's somehow you can get Corbin Burnes, I don't think there's any way you get it without giving up Jason Dominguez and Oswald Peraza. So it's just something to keep in mind. So I'm kind of pivoting here to a Gleyber Torres trade. Okay, and keep in mind, we're talking about adding an untenable contract. Um, like we adding Flexens to Andres Munoz from Seattle. There has been a proposal, or an idea floated around where we can get Corbin Burnes if we take Christian Yelich's contract. Okay. And I said this the other night in the live stream too. There's no way they owe him like $180 million. The only way I'm doing anything, even considering that, is if you're not getting Dominguez or Peraza. You're not getting any one of our top three prospects in return. If we're taking that monster contract to go along with Corbin Burnes, there's no way in the world I'm giving up a top prospect. That's just my opinion. So it's going to make it maybe an undoable trade, which is why Torres to Milwaukee for, let's just say, two budding prospects, Tyler Black, who's their number 8 prospect, who was an infielder and an outfielder, okay, and Ethan Small, who's their number 13 prospect, left-handed pitcher with boatloads of controllable years. That might be a little bit more of a viable path. So again, I can't see. If you can, and if Cashman's crazy enough to take on Christian Yelich to play the outfield, he's older, he's a former multiple MVP. There's no way I'm giving up Dominguez and Peraza because they're going to ask for at least that and more. And there's a chance in the world I'm going to do that if I'm taking Yelich. You do that if you're not taking Yelich. But if you're taking Yelich, no way in the world. So these are the 4, I think ideal fits for Gleyber Torres in a trade. They can extract some value back for the Yankees, immediate value and maybe a little bit more long-term value. So let me know what you think, guys. Okay, I'm going to be doing more of these types of videos as well, adding to the other stuff we're doing. So as that thing says down below, be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. There's a lot more coming. It's only going to get better, gang, this year. So, but thanks for watching. Have a great week, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.